In today's video, we're taking you behind the scenes to uncover how the world's most popular cookie is made, and we'll even spill a few secrets hidden inside every irresistible bite. Oreo first hit the scene in 1912, created by the National Biscuit Company, what we now know as Nabisco, part of the Mondelez International family. This cookie stood out with a simple but totally iconic design. Two dark, round chocolate cookies sandwiching a sweet, creamy white filling. Originally, Oreos were all about that classic combo rich dark chocolate cookies with a smooth vanilla cream center. Before those delicious Oreos we all know and love can be made, the ingredients have to be prepared with serious care and precision. The key players behind this legendary cookie: all-purpose flour, sugar, cocoa powder, vegetable oil, salt, and baking soda. The flour used is mostly all-purpose flour sourced from local wheat farms right here in the US. To keep the cookie texture nice and smooth, the flour is carefully sifted to get rid of any lumps. And here's a pro tip. You want to mix the dough just enough. Overmixing can activate too much gluten, making the cookie tough instead of giving it that perfect light crunch we all crave. Also, using high-protein flour? Big no-no, it messes with the Oreo's signature soft bite. As for the sugar, Oreo uses fine white granulated sugar, also harvested from local farms across the US. They usually go with finely ground sugar because large crystals don't dissolve well and could cause the cookie surface to crack and lose that smooth, even finish. If powdered sugar is used, it has to be sifted too, making sure it blends perfectly with the flour and cocoa powder. And fun fact, the Oreo cookie itself isn't super sweet. The amount of sugar in the cookie dough is carefully balanced. It's only about 15% of the total dry ingredients. That way, the slightly less sweet cookie pairs beautifully with the rich, sweet cream filling in the middle. Now let's talk cocoa powder, the real magic behind Oreo's iconic chocolate flavor. The cocoa is made from carefully selected cacao beans, mainly grown in places like Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, and Indonesia. After harvesting, the beans are roasted, ground, and processed into cocoa powder. But here's the secret. To get that deep, almost black color and smooth chocolate flavor we all recognize, Oreo uses alkalized cocoa powder, meaning it's been treated with an alkalizing agent to neutralize natural acidity. This not only gives the cookie that intense dark color, but also a mellow, less tangy flavor compared to natural cocoa powder. If you used natural cocoa instead, the cookies would turn out lighter brown and have a slightly sour taste, totally not the classic Oreo vibe we all know and love. The Oreo making process kicks off with massive bags of pure sugar getting poured into giant mixers to start building the cookie dough. Once the sugar is in, cocoa powder gets added, along with a mix of salt and a few other secret supporting ingredients. Next up, a stream of canola oil is poured in to help bind all those dry ingredients into a smooth, sticky dough. Every ratio here is perfectly calculated. 40% flour, 25% dark cocoa powder, 15% sugar, 15% fat, and the rest are the magic extras. The whole mix gets blended together inside heavy-duty industrial mixers. Then here's where it gets interesting. Workers add water, and the dough starts to look like a thick, chocolatey soup. To control the temperature, they toss in dry ice. As the dry ice evaporates, it rapidly cools the dough, keeping everything nice and chill for about 30 minutes. Cooling the dough early is super important. Cold dough is much easier to handle and way less likely to crack when it's rolled out, which means the final cookies bake up perfectly crisp and even. Finally, a leavening agent gets added into the mix, completing the rich, chocolatey dough ready for the next step, shaping those iconic Oreo cookies. Once the dough is dried and ready, it heads over to the shaping and stamping station. Workers scoop the dough onto a conveyor belt that feeds it into giant rollers. These rollers press the dough into those familiar little circles we all recognize. And at the same time, stamp in the signature Oreo design. The stamping machine presses the iconic Oreo logo and that beautiful wreath pattern onto every single cookie instantly. It's a small detail, but honestly, it's a game-changer. Branding like that can boost the cookie's appeal by almost 90%. Let's be real. Slap a cool logo on anything, and it automatically looks way more delicious. This shaping machine cranks out up to 6,000 Oreos every hour, keeping the production line moving at an absolutely insane pace. After getting perfectly shaped and stamped, the raw Oreo cookies continue their journey down a long steel conveyor belt, heading straight into massive industrial ovens. Inside, the heat is cranked way up, kept steady between 340 and 360 degrees Fahrenheit to bake the cookies just right. They only spend about 10 to 12 minutes inside, just enough time to get that perfect crispy shell without drying out or turning rock hard. The result? A light, crunchy cookie with the perfect texture that we all know and love. And get this, the oven itself stretches a mind-blowing 400 feet long. That's enough space to give every cookie a slow, even ride through the heat, making sure they're baked to absolute perfection before moving on to the next stage. As soon as the cookies come out of the oven, they're blasted with cool air from giant industrial fans to quickly bring down the temperature. This rapid cooling helps lock in that perfect crunch and keeps the cookie structure nice and stable. Then, they roll onto another conveyor belt where a team of sharp-eyed workers is already waiting, eyes locked onto the endless stream of cookies. Any cookies that are cracked, misshapen, or a little too toasty get snatched off the line in a flash, making sure only the best of the best move forward. Rows and rows of Oreo cookies flow down the belts, twisting and turning through the factory like a living, swirling river of chocolate, creating a scene that's both crazy busy and absolutely mesmerizing to watch. While the cookies are being baked and prepped, the creamy vanilla filling is also being made with serious precision and quality control. It all starts with the key ingredients: powdered sugar, vegetable fat, corn syrup, natural or artificial vanilla flavoring, and a small amount of emulsifier, all measured out automatically according to a super specific formula. The powdered sugar and fat go straight into giant mixing tanks, where high-speed mixers whip everything together in a carefully temperature-controlled environment to prevent any oil from separating. Once the sugar and fat are whipped up into a smooth, fluffy mixture, corn syrup is slowly added in to give the cream its signature stretchiness and help it stay moist. At the same time, vanilla flavoring is blended in to create that sweet, irresistible aroma we all know and love. The entire mixing process is kept cool between 68 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, making sure the cream stays soft and silky, but thick enough to hold its perfect shape when it's piped onto the cookies. Once the cream is perfectly mixed, it gets loaded into an automated pumping system, where tiny nozzles precisely squeeze out the perfect amount of filling for every single cookie. The pumping speed and cream output are fully synced with the cookie assembly line, keeping everything running like clockwork. Half of the Oreo cookies are neatly lined up on the conveyor belt, and a perfect swirl of vanilla cream is piped right onto the center of each one at just the right height and size to create that classic Oreo look. Then, the other half of the cookies gently drop on top, pressing down just enough to spread the cream evenly without messing up those clean edges we all recognize. And get this, each line can crank out an insane 3,000 finished Oreos every single minute. Once the cookies are sandwiched together, they head straight into a rapid cooling tunnel, where the cream firms up, locking everything into place and making the cookies easier to handle and package. Throughout the entire assembly process, strict quality control checks are in place, and any batch of cream that doesn't meet Oreo's high standards, it's pulled off the line immediately. Only the best make it through. Finally, the fully assembled Oreos make their way into the automated packing station, where these super-skilled robot fingers neatly group the cookies into sets of 11. Mechanical clamps gently grab each bundle and place them carefully into waiting plastic trays. Once the trays are full, they're sent over to the packing station, where the cookies are sealed up nice and tight and packed into boxes, ready for shipping. From there, those boxes of Oreos are sent all over the world to distributors, supermarkets, and, yep, probably right onto your kitchen shelf too. But let's be honest, keeping these cookies sealed up for more than a few minutes once they're home? Pretty much impossible.